back to another episode of Hyper Heroes here on Hyper RPG.
It's go time.
Boys, we knew this was coming.
Oh, man.
The day of reckoning is upon us. It is official.
Yes.
Disney is acquiring 21st Century Fox. We're going to be talking about that fairly in depth. This is the third week we're talking about it.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping this is the last week we're talking about it in 2017.
Well, yeah.
Hopefully next year we'll actually find out what exactly is happening.
I have some news, gentlemen. Before we get started, I feel like I need to make an announcement.
Did you get bought by Disney?
I have not been purchased by Disney.
okay.
I'm wearing a suit. Unfortunately, I have been instructed by my overlord, my bosses, to let you guys know, don't talk shit. Don't talk shit about Disney. I am now a company man, trying to get taken care of my student loans. You know what I'm saying? So I had to dress up, have Disney buy me. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm trying to get bought by Disney, but they don't like Mexicans, so
you gotta dress. You gotta dress for the job you want, the acquisition you want, not the job you have.
Damn, I'm too brown. Okay,
Too brown.
All right.
Hey man, they did McFarlane USA. That was a pretty brown little movie that Disney did.
True.
The point is, oh boy, let's get into this. I just made a joke. I'm not purchased by Disney, but
everybody in the comments is now just going to assume that at this point.
Sure.
I mean, everybody assumed that anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Of course.
It doesn't matter.
Before we get going, I want to let you guys know that we are doing as far as I know, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, the final hyperdrive of 2017.
Yeah.
Hey!
Saturday, baby.
That's going to be happening.
Oh, we got two more.
What?
So
How?
It's never going to end. It's never going to end.
Penultimate.
No, but we're doing our final hyperdrive of the year. It's going to be on Saturday starting at 10 a.m. right here on Twitch, twitch.tv/hyperrpg. We got a full day of RPGs. We're going to do a lot of fun stuff with you guys since it is the last one of the year.
I assume giveaways and shit, right, guys?
Yeah.
They said
We're also at the end of it going to be doing a white elephant exchange and streaming it.
Yes,
so
and Matt's going to get naked on set. Oh, that's going to be really fun. See, told you.
Yep.
And Abby's going to cook something or bake something.
Yeah.
No. Okay, great.
Probably not. No.
Great. All right, go.
Guys,
Perfect.
everybody
This
behind the
is news
scenes
to her.
Everybody behind the scenes is drunk and wants to go see The Last Jedi.
Yeah,
So
they're
like,
all just waiting.
Let's
They're all just waiting for us to stop talking so we
Yeah.
can go watch Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Everyone's very, very excited. We are the
Okay.
only three who have seen this
I
movie.
know, right?
We're going to be doing a spoiler review of that. That'll be coming out this weekend. Our friend Emma Fife is going to be joining us for that. We have to shoot that obviously tomorrow after Pencils and Parsecs, so it's going to be a long night for us.
Yeah.
Very, very fun.
Yep.
I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been listening to the podcast and who's been watching all of our trailer reactions. Avengers Infinity War still crushing it, almost at 700,000 views.
Damn.
Holy
Wow.
shit. If you're a
son.
brand new subscriber, thank you for subscribing. We're doing great numbers on subscriptions.
You think we could get to 1 million?
By the end of the year? Totally.
Wow.
Hey, remember when I said we could get to 10,000 by Comic-Con and nobody believed me?
Yeah.
And then we did it?
Yeah. And we did
Right?
it.
We did it. We
You're
can
the
do
best,
it.
Adam.
we did
We
it.
can
Best,
do it.
Adam.
We did it.
We're
You
good.
guys-
We're
Adam's
so
the
good.
best.
We're so good.
Yeah.
I put out a thing and I said, like, look, if we get to 75 by the end of the year, that'd be awesome. I don't think it's impossible. I think we're very capable of doing that. I hope that everyone who's a
right
new
now? How many
subscriber, I think we're at, what are we at, 67? 70?
If you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, click the
You
button.
absolutely should. I'm super excited and I'm super pumped that, everybody who's been interacting with the content seems to be really enjoying the content. I hope that what we're bringing to you guys is extremely valuable and
Let us
informational.
know what you like.
And let us know what you like. Absolutely. And going into the new year, we're going to hopefully work with you guys in the community to figure out kind of what we want to do next year. So we got some fun stuff planned.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fret
But-
Noise
Looking
says,
forward to it.
Fret Noise in the chat says, crew, go ahead and leave to see it. Leaving these guys
you've
hanging
been relieved. Just
is
go.
is understandable in this case. And if you're watching at
I
home
want
too,
to
and you need to
go.
go see Star Wars, go see it. But just leave the tab open. Just leave our window open. So
Yeah.
it's
Just so
still,
we can suck up the views, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into this talk because now it's official that Disney is acquiring certain assets from 21st Century Fox.
Also, before we do
Yes.
that, we got to let them know we're going to be watching some movie trailers after this. So we're going to have
Yes,
this
we will be.
discussion.
Oh,
and then we're
yeah.
going to watch. These guys haven't seen Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse.
Ready
We're
Player
watching
One,
Ready Player
Alita
One.
Battle
Ready Player
Angel.
One.
Okay.
I saw
cool.
that one. I saw
Cool.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I have some
talk about
thoughts on
that.
that one. I have some
We'll
thoughts
talk
on
about
that one.
that. All right. Jessica Jones season 2.
Jessica Jones season 2.
I haven't
Yep.
seen that one.
Yep.
So
Cool.
this
So
is
I'm
good.
excited. It's
So
trailer
let's-
night, baby.
Let's get this out of the
Okay,
way. All right.
so we're going to be talking about this. We talked about it sort of at length the last 2 episodes, but we were kind of waiting for this confirmation to come out. It was rumored last week that it was going to be confirmed today. It, in fact, was. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. Now, this deal, obviously, as many of you have been reading about today, it's a $54.2 billion acquisition
With a B.
with a B,
With a motherfucking
with a B, which is not the highest. The highest was, I believe it was the AOL Time Warner merger, which is like $100 billion.
Holy shit.
Which is crazy. I think this one is second or third. But super, super interesting to see how this plays out. What were you going to say?
It's mind blowing. I can't even comprehend that amount of money.
I know.
we'll get into the sort of money.
So the
talk
first
later.
bullet point, I'm going to go through kind of like Variety did a really nice write-up. They've done multiple write-ups on sort of what this deal entails and sort of what Disney is going to acquire and what 20th Century Fox is going to keep. The first thing, the deal is valued, the assets in the deal are valued at $66.1 billion.
Oh, so they got a deal.
Yes.
$50 billion.
Yes, including a $13.7 billion debt.
Okay.
So that kind of balances it off.
Kind of balances out.
Kind of balances it off.
And the enterprise value is $69 billion. Now, to me, that just says like, oh yeah, you're worth a lot of money because you've been around since 1935.
Right, exactly.
So that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Bob Iger, because of this, has extended his contract to continue being the CEO of Disney through 2021.
I was going to say for all of time.
For all of time.
Because
Forever?
Disney's found a way to live fucking forever.
Yes. His contract,
trillionaires can afford.
His contract was supposed to end by 2019, but because of the way that these deals work, just because they've actually come to an agreement, the deal itself, once it goes through all the bells and whistles of being approved, it actually won't be finalized for another 18 to 24 months. Right. So I know a lot of people get excited when when this was released because they thought, oh, we're gonna get Fantastic Four or X-Men, X-Men, Deadpool, whatever. We will eventually. But it's going to take at least 2 years a year and a half to 2 years before we even hear anything
when
about
we
it.
did that dumb video where we were super excited that Spider-Man...
That was not a dumb video, my friend.
Well, it was so...
It was quit out of here.
It was so, like, silly and fun, and we were so excited, and it wasn't a thing that was, like, a massive deal like this, obviously. It was just an announcement.
Because it wasn't an acquisition, it was a partnership.
No, it was a partnership. Exactly. It was an announcement of, like, Sony's going to lend the rights to this character with Marvel Studios. He's going to fit into a movie. How long was it from that announcement to... Spider-Man is going to be in Captain America: Civil War.
I don't know.
I feel like it was like a year.
It was fairly quick, I would say. It was fairly quick.
Yeah.
I would say it was within a year because I feel like...
Because that's different than this deal. This deal means you're not going to get the type of movies and shit that you want to see, that we want to see for a couple of years.
And especially because, Fox has a lot of movies in the pipeline. We're obviously getting a Deadpool 2, X-Force, New Mutants, Dark Phoenix. They're working on Gambit. They're working on Multiple Man. I think depending on where some of those movies fall in terms of when they start production, that could possibly change. But I think the current movies that are being released up until
Sony was like, we're going to do Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Right.
And then they were like, psych, just kidding.
Exactly.
We're going to reboot it with
we're
Marvel.
We're going to do Spider-Man Homecoming and Civil War.
Sure.
But I think, up to that point, we're going to get the movies that we were supposed to get. And then we'll see sort of in 2019 what's going to happen. And I think it's been kind of smart that Kevin Feige hasn't really discussed what the slate is going to be following Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and 2 or Avengers 4.
He knew this was happening.
Maybe.
That's why I said
sure.
in the future we have 20 movies slated, and there's something you've never seen before. Duh, because we didn't have the X-Men, and we didn't have Doctor Doom, and we didn't have the Fantastic.
I'm sure that somebody at that level was being told by somebody like a Bob Iger, like, hey, we're in talks with 20th Century Fox.
No, he was told. He was like, hey,
okay.
He was told way before. He was like, hey, we're going to go to Fox's office today, and we're going to buy them today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think from with some of the things that I read, Bob Iger had already been kind of considering and thinking about this in his head for a while now, and he met with Rupert Murdoch. It's crazy how these meetings happen in Hollywood. They happen in secret in locations that like nobody's privy to.
Yeah.
There was
creepy and evil sounding.
It is. It's crazy.
It is.
But it was crazy. I think these guys end up meeting in London to kind of finalize this deal. Away from everything in a neutral territory.
That's some spy shit.
Yeah. But they had been sort of discussing this since August, and it wasn't until their initial conversation that Bob Iger kind of had this feeling that Rupert Murdoch would be all in to potentially sell up parts of Fox.
Sure.
And then as soon as he approached him, he was like, yeah, I'm interested. Because I think, one of the things, you mentioned was, they're sucking up all this debt and, they're trying to spend less. Their hope is to really be able to save up to $2 billion by doing this. And I think a lot of it is because Fox and the Murdochs primarily, they don't necessarily feel like they have a good enough handle on sort of where the industry is going in terms of entertainment, and I think they just want to focus on particular things.
So I was listening to a lot of news radio podcasts today just to try to figure out like maybe the mindset of where Rupert Murdoch was when he was selling this, because in no way, shape, or form was Fox in a bad state. Like they were okay. Like they could get across. They could, if they pushed some more innovative movies, they could become that giant. They were just a couple of steps behind.
Right. And that's just on the movie side.
And that's just on the movie side.
Think about all the movie or the TV shows.
The TV shows,
the TV stations.
They have a
sports
bunch
networks.
of creative people who know how to write TV shows.
They have an animation studio.
They have an animation studio. Like everything they have. But from what I was hearing from most of the people who were talking about this was that when he sized himself up to people like Hulu and Netflix and Amazon and things like that, he felt that he couldn't compete. So he felt that like what they were putting out as far as movies goes, as far as all the media goes, he felt like they didn't have a solid enough force to continue it into the near future. So they were nowhere near going bankrupt. But at the same time, he just was just kind of like, you know what? I'm going to focus on TV. I'm going to focus on sports. I'm going to focus on news. And really, that's it. So they're getting Fox Business. They're getting Fox News. They're getting.
Wait, so he sold Fox News?
No. So they're keeping Fox News, Fox Business, 2 sports channels, and then FS1 and FS2.
So here's what's terrifying, and what people in the chat have been kind of pointing out, and this is kind of what I need clarification on.
Yeah.
This dude, Rupert Murdoch, who's a huge piece of shit human being, terrible human being. Just straight up terrible, awful human being.
He lives out there where the fires happened in the hills.
Oh,
here
did
in
his
LA.
house burn down?
And no. People were cheering on the fires because they're like, burn his house down.
Which is dumb and petty and messed up.
It
but
is,
like
it is,
this guy's
it
a
is.
particular type of human piece of shit. He's this Australian guy who's come in and changed the landscape of politics because of his beliefs and his agenda. And he's a liar, and he encourages his company to lie and all this other stuff. So you're telling me that he sells the movie studio because he doesn't care about that stuff,
basically.
And now this guy and the company that runs Fox News gets $50 billion.
Disney just gave Fox News $50 billion. That's what just happened. Let's not turn this into a political show, though.
I mean, it's part of it. It's all connected. It's part
of it.
That's very troubling.
It is troubling. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
There was a part of me when I heard that this was happening, I was like, oh, great. Fox News can get shut down. I was excited. I was like, oh, cool. Now that Disney owns Fox News.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Disney's not in the news business. They don't care about that.
Sure.
They care about properties. They care about entertaining media, and Fox has a lot of that. Fox still owns the rights to the first Star Wars movie.
Sure. Right.
They own a particular set of Marvel characters, and a lot, because the X-Men encompasses a lot of characters.
They've got own like, Batman the Animated Series.
I don't know if it's the animated series. I think it's Batman the 66 series.
And somebody said
I looked up on the wiki today, not necessarily saying that wiki's the most reliable, but Batman the Animated Series was put out by Fox Kids Channel, which is now defunct, which still falls under the Fox Television, which Disney bought.
But maybe because there's no Fox Kids Channel, I feel like Warner Brothers Animation does own the rights to. For example,
I think you might be right.
I think like Warner Brothers, like if Warner Brothers wanted to do. If they want to have a hub or whatever for all their shit, they could put Wonder Woman, the old TV show, on there, Batman, the old TV show, on there, Smallville, Batman, the animated series. Like I feel like Warner Brothers owns everything that's
it's very possible that the rights might have gone back to Warner Brothers at a certain point.
But like Adam said, Fox maybe did own Batman rights at
Batman
least for
66.
a while because it took forever for them to get put on Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
Only a couple of years ago did they get put on Blu-ray.
Yeah, and I mean on top of that, Disney already also owns ABC. They own ESPN.
Right.
So like I think they're sort of covered in the things that they kind of want to be covering.
Yeah.
I think for them it's all about acquiring these big properties and not letting these properties die, because I think if the Murdochs don't want it, then give it to someone who does want it.
And but there's another odd thing though. They acquired controlling stock in Hulu.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they're also starting their own streaming service.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Disney currently owns 30%. Fox owns 30%, which now with the
Disney
acquisition,
owns 60%.
they'll now be a majority stakeholder of that. How that will affect Hulu is going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. I think the demographic and sort of the content that they put on Hulu is going to be extremely different from what they put on the Disney streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
I would be very surprised if they were to just completely get rid of Hulu.
Yeah.
I think that there's a place for Hulu and a place for the Disney streaming service, and I think it'd be foolish of Disney, who really wants to have a very close, direct relationship with the consumers, for them to just shut it down and get rid of things that are already doing really, really well there.
Yeah.
Plus, some of these networks have these deals in place with Hulu that last years, and maybe if Disney wants to sever those deals, they're gonna have to pay big prices for them. I mean, they already have to pay a $13.7 billion debt for everything that Fox sort of owes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be really interesting. But you know, they're obviously reacquiring a lot of their Marvel properties.
Mm-hmm.
The first Star Wars movie, the Alien franchise, the Kingsman franchise, even older franchises like Die Hard, Home Alone. Die Hard, there's always been rumors of them doing another movie or a reboot. If anybody's going to bring that back and make that work again, it would be Disney.
Yeah.
But I think the most interesting thing is going to be sort of how they use this to make movies that are not on brand with Disney. The Deadpools, the movies that they take risks on. Obviously, like you look at movies like The Revenant. I mean, that's a movie that Disney would never make because that's original piece of
I saw an
content.
article saying that Bob Iger was open to having rated R movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're probably
stupid
not
not
going
to.
to change the 20th century or the Fox logos or anything like that.
Yeah, they shouldn't. They should. That should be their new Miramax.
Yeah, what Disney does, they described it as having different silos. So they're still under the Disney umbrella. It's just a different silo inside of Disney. So it's a brand new silo. So they can still operate like Fox Studios, but and still put out those rated R movies and maybe just have two logos, like a Fox logo and then a Disney logo,
Right.
or maybe a Miramax logo. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then,
Well, which they got rid of Miramax. They don't own it anymore.
oh yeah, that's right.
But so here's a list. Here's a list of some of the properties that they will now own: Avatar, Alien, Kingsman, Predator, Planet of the Apes, Die Hard, Home Alone, Modern Family, Speechless, This Is Us, The Gifted, Legion, Simpsons, Family Guy, Bob's Burgers. There's also other stuff on there. There's stuff that's now in syndication that they would obviously own. So they're going to be obtaining a lot of these things. A lot of these shows are not necessarily on Fox networks,
Sure.
but they have deals that they're distributed on CBS
they're
or
run
NBC.
by Fox money.
Yeah, This Is Us. It's a Fox produced show, but it's on NBC. Gifted, they're obviously going to be absorbing all the FX networks, FX, FXX, and FX movies. So Legion is going to become a part of that. The Gifted show, which I believe is on ABC.
Gifted? I don't know what
The
Gifted.
Gifted? No.
Gifted, I think, is on
I
Freeform.
think it's on Fox.
It was on
ABC
Fox.
The
ABC
Gifted is,
Freeform.
Yes,
is
it's on
the
Fox. It's on
X-Men
Fox.
show.
Yeah, it's on Fox.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So obviously all that stuff will come over. Let me read a quote from Bob Iger. He says, "The acquisition of this stellar collection of businesses from 21st Century Fox reflects the increasing consumer demand for a rich diversity of entertainment experiences that are more compelling, accessible, and convenient than ever before. We're honored and grateful that Rupert Murdoch has entrusted us with the future of businesses he spent a lifetime building, and we're excited about the extraordinary opportunity to significantly increase our portfolio of well-loved franchises and branded content to greatly enhance our growing direct-to-consumer offerings. The deal will also substantially expand our international reach, allowing us to offer world-class storytelling and innovative distribution platforms to more consumers in key markets around the globe." One of the companies that they are absorbing is called, I think, Star something. I can't remember, but it has a huge presence in India. One of the largest subscription bases in the millions. And that's a market that they really want to hit because that's a market that is really sort of engaging with next generation digital content.
Everybody's talking about how it's like, oh, cool, Dupe is going to be in a Disney movie now. That shit is small potatoes. Smallest potatoes to the people making these deals. First of all, Rupert Murdoch's a fucking billionaire.
Yeah.
Bob Iger's a billionaire. Like, these people are making massive amounts of money. I hear that, even that statement, and I'm like, that doesn't seem like more people are going to be able to share the wealth even. It sounds like we're very excited that Rupert Murdoch has spent a lifetime building up this wealth, and now we're going to get this wealth, and now we're going to be able to put our stuff in a market that we haven't had access to, and now we're going to tap into millions of people in the subscriber market in India, and all of that is what this is about. And
that's literally what it's about.
We haven't talked about the consolidation of certain things, which everybody's like, that's going to be massive job opportunities gone, which is a huge bummer. You talked about the email that Murdoch sent out to Fox people, not Fox News, but Fox people, being like, we're going to help you find a job. And
right.
And,
which like how much value does that really have in this industry?
Guys, we've all been there. We've all
Yes,
been
we
laid
have.
off, and
Multiple
they've told
times.
us, we will help you. No, you won't help us.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're going to hand me a pink slip, and you're going to say, good luck. Contact me if you need anything.
Here's
and
2
you're
weeks of
not-
severance.
Yeah,
which I'm
exactly.
like, is that supposed to help me live?
And that's it.
He probably
That's all
did
you get.
inherit his wealth. This is weird too, because just randomly I saw a video today of Andy Richter from Conan talking about like the title of the video was like, there is not as much money in Hollywood today as there was 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Andy Richter said there are shows on the air right now that are struggling and happy to have the audiences that they have, that 15 years ago those shows would have been canceled for having those numbers. And he was like, it's because the audiences are spread too thin. Because there's so much shit, there's so many companies that it's a completely different game today. He talked about how the videos that they do on their Conan digital presence on YouTube and everything is something that Conan specifically, like, that show kind of became a second show, this thing that this group of people put together for like the online stuff.
And that's what's driving their views.
And he was like, one of the most popular things is Conan playing video games badly. And he talked about, Andy Richter was like, I watch my kids watch videos of people playing video games, and it baffles me. And yet that is some of our highest rated, highest watched,
Right.
you know, and
That's why we're on Twitch, y'all, because everybody loves watching this gamer
Well,
stuff.
I think
Yeah.
that's one of the big
Yeah.
things that I've been learning doing a lot of research for the last few months.
It's just crazy to think about how the industry's changing.
Oh,
That's
yes.
and I was just thinking about what Andy Richter was saying,
Right.
and continue.
Well, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, and I think the biggest mistake that a lot of these companies can make, a lot of these studios can make, and a lot of these people in Hollywood can make, is that they are trying to hold on to the old way of doing things in the
Right.
industry.
Right.
If you do that, you will go extinct. You will die out. Your company will not survive. I mean, we've seen evidence of it in all other sorts of entertainment. Blockbuster didn't jump on the bandwagon.
Gone.
Netflix took them out.
Did you know that there was an option?
Yes.
Blockbuster had an option to buy Netflix.
Yeah.
When they
I
were a
worked
small
for
company.
Blockbuster at the time. And I remember the Blockbuster statement or whatever was like, it was very arrogant. It
Yeah.
was like, nah, we're
like,
good. We're
yeah.
Blockbuster. And I
Rent
remember
movies?
employees, myself
Yeah.
included, we were like, you idiots. Like,
Yeah.
even us
Yeah.
working in the video store knew, nah,
Yes.
Netflix is the future, dude.
It's the same way of how the studio system changed from the 1920s all the way
Yes.
till the 80s and 90s. Digital technology, how that's influenced the music industry. I mean, now there is no like you can't find a record store.
Yeah.
They're so hard to come by.
Oh,
so
you can,
extremely
but
hard.
they're little eclectic
That's
holes in the
it.
wall
And
that like
they're
are
one
never
of,
going
they're
anywhere.
one of
becomes.
one in
Yeah.
a million.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem. I think if
Boutique shops.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think if a person like Rupert Murdoch, regardless of how much of a piece of human trash he is, if he sees that he can't really help sustain this sort of old school
Gone.
formula of doing
Right,
Let me
things,
get $50 billion.
then here you go, Disney. You guys have all the
Yeah.
money in the world. You have all
Yeah.
the power in the world. You're probably the best person to take this on and actually do something with
Yeah.
it.
Now Rupert
They are
Murdoch
the most
and-
successful studio.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they continue having hit after hit after hit. Marvel, Lucasfilm, Disney
Yep.
proper,
Yeah.
Pixar.
Pixar.
Brilliant.
There is no reason to
Brilliant.
not sell your assets
Yeah.
to Disney.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I get
Agreed.
it. I mean, it does become a monopoly.
Right,
You have Disney
right.
making all the content.
Yeah.
Is that a bad thing? Yes, because it
Yes.
could stifle creativity very much,
Yes.
and you could
It
just be
does.
you could be limiting how much sort of creativity you output.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side, things that we love don't die out. So
That's
it's
true
hard.
because that's what happened with Marvel. That's what
Right.
happened with Lucasfilm. We get new Star Wars movies, and I love them. We get Marvel now being owned by Disney is able to use their publishing company for sure. Like they put out some Disney comics and Star Wars comics now, which are stellar. But that company Disney has ensured that Marvel is a brand, which
Yeah.
is something that I grew up with, and it was so crazy when Disney bought them because I was like, wait, this is like a comic book company to me that at one point was selling off its assets to avoid filing for like it filed for bankruptcy
Sony
in the
bought,
late
right.
90s.
Yeah,
like
Universal.
that was the company that since I was a kid I was rooting for. In the same way that I was always rooting for DC, but DC had always been, since we've been alive, owned by Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
It was a little bit
Yeah.
so Marvel to me was always kind of this scrappy little like we made Blade, like they were
Yeah.
trying in
Yeah.
terms of like a broader appeal and
Yeah.
stuff. And now they're backed by the House of Mouse, and it's crazy. But
Yeah.
like on a micro scale, we get everything that Adam you just said. Certain properties and franchises are going to live forever, and that's great. They might actually make a new Die Hard because they own
Right.
the right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They own the rights to it. They're like, well, let's do something with it, and it could be cool. That's on the micro scale. On the micro scale, certain characters who at Fox currently, the superhero stuff, the Marvel stuff, might not have been great, are probably going to be taken very well care of with the people at Marvel Studios,
Yeah.
Kevin Feige going, we know how to do Fantastic Four, we know how to do X-Men, let's reboot the X-Men, let's absorb Deadpool, we know what we're doing, bing, bang, boom, which is rad. On the macro level, this fucking sucks because like you said, jobs are going away, creativity is going to be stifled. The only reason people are excited about this is because on a tiny little section of Fox,
Wolverine and Iron Man could be in a movie together.
some of that stuff wasn't going so great. But think about everything else that Fox has done as a studio for all of its history, and it's like
Titanic,
we
Avatar,
didn't
two of the
need
highest grossing
Fox
movies.
to be owned by Disney. Like yeah, exactly. Like yeah, they had the highest grossing film of all time.
Both of them.
So
Yeah.
and not excluding the superhero stuff, them as a movie studio were fine.
Yeah.
Like that, you know. Yeah, both
They
of
weren't
them. That's
hurting.
crazy.
They were not
They
hurting.
were not hurting.
The
They didn't
thing-
need outside
The
help.
thing that I cannot stop overlooking because we all three of us have been in the Hollywood machine is the job loss. Like
I know.
Yeah.
they keep talking about like, oh, maybe it's not gonna happen. Maybe it's not gonna happen. We've all been on the receiving end of that
Yeah.
shit, and it happens. It will happen, and it's unfortunate. Yeah, it could be a blessing for some people who maybe didn't want to work there anymore. But there
Sure.
are gonna be people who have been hooked up there, who have been there for a really long time, who are like, this is what I know, this is my family, and
they'll be like, we have
now-
somebody at Disney that does that.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
but,
fired.
But we have Bob Iger over here saying that
Yeah.
Sally already has your job.
Yeah.
So bye, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the thing
Poor
that
Mark.
makes it really difficult. You know,
Poor Mark.
and even if the acquisition means that they're instead of dissolving Fox, 20th Century Fox, Fox
They
Television,
just keep it going.
they keep it going. It's very, very possible that they could keep two role, like all the people who were part of it could come over, all those accountants, all those executives. But the likelihood is that now that because they're owned by Disney, they may not
One
need those
CEO.
people.
No.
One, yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's going to be the interesting thing to sort of wait and hear what's going to happen. How many of those people are going to actually get a chance to move over to Disney? How many of those positions are going to stay because of how many people they're planning on moving over? They'll sort of need that support because you don't want to have that much on staff and not
Right.
have the support.
Exactly. You don't want to waste your money on that.
Yeah.
You know. I saw a tweet last night. I don't know who it was. It was an insider in Fox somewhere. Apparently, they had a meeting last night at Fox and at Disney, and this person was saying, after this meeting tonight, there's a lot of people questioning their futures, and I'm just like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like
Sucks,
these people
man.
thought they were on like successful Hollywood route, and then suddenly, just with one question, like, are we gonna buy this thing? All their futures are in doubt, and that's what I can't get over, and that's why I can't get excited about possibly seeing Wolverine come out of the forest and
No.
fighting the Hulk.
It's-
I can't.
I would love the job to be working at Marvel Studios. Marvel Studios, which is like, that's job security. If you have a job where you could have job
Their
security.
staff
and
is
somebody,
really small.
it's a small staff, so that's probably a lot of job security. Can you
Yeah.
imagine working there and then across your desk, someone's like, by the way, we're getting Fantastic Four and the X-Men
Yeah.
and the Silver Surfer.
So we're good for another 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not only that, but like, okay, now part of your job is like figure out how to make that work.
Right.
That would be so fun.
Yeah.
I would fucking love to do that.
Absolutely.
But that's
Absolutely.
not what all of this thing is.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I was saying last time we talked about this, the sort of not like this feeling, I always assumed that like the way that little specific part of the Disney studio, the Marvel Studios thing was going, that it was going to become such a powerhouse and such a behemoth that at one point Disney was going to be like, just give us the X-Men characters back.
Exactly.
Like it would have happened 10 years from now and I would have been fine fucking waiting. Like, you know, they're going to make Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Spider-Man, Ant-Man,
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy movies for the next 10, 15 years. It's fine. I always assumed that Marvel stuff would still trickle back anyway at some
Right.
point when
Yeah.
after Fox had like done a couple of Deadpools and some then those X-Men movies, and for them to
Right.
be like, you know what, to build back up hype, let's do that partnership like Sony, and then
Right.
both of those companies will benefit and blah blah blah. But this is like, it would be fun to figure that stuff. It'd be fun to be like, okay, Fantastic Four, you know, absorb it into the MCU.
Yes.
What a fun creative thing to be able to do, and to be able to
Exactly.
hire people and give jobs and make those movies and put those into production. But that is like 1 out of 100 things that is like everything else is going to get fucked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It makes it really hard to get hype for anything Fox is doing at this point. I mean, maybe besides Deadpool, because I think that's a
all
done
up in the
deal.
air.
Like, yeah, it's. But I mean,
that stuff's
I mean,
done.
after this,
Exactly.
like
It's all up in the air.
next Phoenix movie.
Yeah.
Are we gonna have a Thanos after credit scene like
Ugh.
every other Marvel movie did?
No, don't
like
do
what
that.
what's gonna happen?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't know, man. And it makes it really difficult. Like I keep saying, really difficult for me to get excited about anything that Fox is doing because it's been gobbled up already.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people, obviously, the superhero thing, that's obviously a big deal for everybody.
It's cool and fun.
The X-Men,
cool.
the Fantastic Four, the
Great.
Deadpools, the X-Forces. But the thing that people are wondering, you know, Disney is very much a family-friendly studio.
Right.
Where does a character like Deadpool fit into that? And
Look, I'm not worried about that only because I'm watching The Punisher right now.
Yeah.
Technically owned by ABC Studios.
right.
Do you know what I mean? Technically owned by Disney. Anytime someone's like, "Oh, they're going to kidify," I'm like, "No, shut up." Because in the same way that Disney did not buy Marvel because they needed more appeal for young girls, they had that shit on lockdown. Don't worry about that shit. We got princesses. We need young boys.
Yeah.
That's why they bought Marvel.
Yeah.
They're not going to take these new characters and properties and go, okay, let's keep doing the same exact thing we've been doing. They're going to look at what they have and go, look at how successful Logan was,
Yeah.
rated R. Look
Yeah.
how cool it was. Look at Deadpool. Look at
Yeah.
that goodwill. They're not going to squander that. They're going to be like, yeah, let's put into production a movie with this number of budget that we know will make this much money
Yeah.
back, and it'll be something different. And that's how you keep a dumb genre like superhero vital, by making every single thing different. And again,
Yeah.
just watch The Punisher. That's technically Disney, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
I mean,
brutal.
I mean,
Don't worry about
I
it.
agree with both of you to a certain extent. It's just I don't think in its current form as a movie, Deadpool is going to work and continue at Disney. Now, since they have the Hulu thing, they could start pushing a Deadpool series into Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
They could start maybe introduce a Fantastic Four in Hulu instead of going straight to Netflix or whatever. So there's also that option. They also want to compete with the digital giants, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's something that they have to keep into consideration.
Yeah.
Because even if they continue with the movie thing, not as many people are going to see movies, and that's a fact. Like
Right.
movie
changing.
attendance
It's
is
changing.
going down, and the digital movie media is where things are going. Like I love the fact that we got an 8-hour Defender show and all these things that we've been seeing on Netflix. It's great. And sometimes I'd be in a movie and be like, man, I feel kind of shortchanged right now because I feel like this story could be told in a better way in an 8-hour series,
Yep.
and I
Yeah.
would watch that.
Yep.
So it's weird, man. I should be excited, but I'm not excited, and I'm gonna keep saying that this goddamn episode because it's frustrating.
Bob Iger commented about the whole Deadpool thing because it came
Yeah.
up in a call.
Because that is definitely the most popular sort of visceral example of
Exactly.
people being
Right.
like, wait, are you
Right.
going
And
to...
Ryan Reynolds has been making jokes
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
And all
So
that kind of
funny.
stuff.
Good
So
jokes,
which is great.
too.
Which is
Yeah.
great.
Great.
Bob Iger says Deadpool clearly has been and will be Marvel branded, but we think there might be an opportunity for a Marvel R-rated brand for something like Deadpool. As long as we let the audience know what's coming,
Yeah.
we think we can manage that fine.
See, there you go.
Done.
Like they might be able to handle it.
Yeah.
And if anything, I'll give Disney props because they're fucking smart. Because they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Every time I walk into Disneyland, I feel like a freaking 12-year-old. And I'm so wrapped up in this magic that I feel like they have a way to go and do things that I didn't think I could feel like a 12-year-old again. You know,
Yeah.
it's just I'm hoping that they can go and do these characters justice. It's just not like this.
I mean,
man.
the
Not
other
like
thing
this.
too, with all these acquisitions, it just means that they can potentially expand their parks in terms of the themes, which will bring in even more money.
You know they're gonna knock down that part of California Adventure that's just like California themed,
Right.
and that's gonna be Marvel Land.
That'd be
Marvel
great.
Land,
That's
probably.
that's what it's
Yeah.
gonna be.
That'd
Yep.
be great.
Kevin
Sure.
McAllister shows up at Disneyland. That'd be amazing.
I think that's a little too old school. I feel like that's a little...
No,
That'd be
he's gonna
amazing.
he's gonna show up.
That'd be
He's gonna
amazing.
show up.
Or at the very least, you're walking around Disneyland during Christmas time and you're going to hear the Home Alone music. Because it's so Christmassy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
don't know. Whatever. This is all too soon to tell.
Yeah,
I hope that we don't get news in the coming weeks, months, years of like massive layoffs. That's going to fucking bum us out.
Yeah.
If we get news like, oh, yep, you guessed it, Marvel Phase 4 is going to be Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
That's going to be great. We're going to be very excited. But we have no idea what this could mean, and
Right.
and I'm sure that people like men and women with families are at their work right now, and they're just like, I don't know what's going to
They're
happen.
like, yeah,
And
I
that
don't know.
sucks, man.
I don't know.
That really sucks.
And it's gonna take a while before this deal officially
Right.
closes. It's gonna take
18
18
months?
to 24 months.
Sure.
So I think for the time being, I think all we're gonna hear is rumblings of what can be, what's potentially gonna happen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't even think at Comic-Con next year we're gonna hear
no.
what's gonna
No
be
way.
happening.
No
It's
way.
gonna take at least through 2019 before we actually find out. And Kevin Feige goes on a stage and says,
Yeah.
X-Men, Fantastic Four,
Mhm.
Deadpool, integrated into the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
You're gonna
it'll
see
be interesting.
Galactus punch Thanos out of the sky.
Yeah,
It'd be great.
that'd be
man.
interesting.
Super
It'd
cool.
be very interesting.
Oh,
So
my
any,
God.
any final thoughts on this topic before we retire it for the rest of the year?
Oh
It's
boy.
awesome and shitty and
Yeah.
oh man, I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish we were celebrating like we were celebrating in that Spider-Man video.
Sure.
Yes.
'Cause
Because I
that's
wish
what
it
I
was
want.
Because there was no
just-
losses in that.
Yeah.
It was only
Exactly.
wins. Only wins.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there may have been losses with like anybody that was promised, oh, you're going to work on the Amazing Spider-Man 3 as
Yeah,
a
yeah,
production, but
yeah.
hopefully Sony was able to put those people on like Homecoming
Yeah.
that they still filmed in New York.
Hey, worst
I don't
case
know.
scenario, maybe Apple will just buy everything because they could buy everything that was just acquired and still probably have like $40 to $50 billion to their name. So they'd be fine.
Also, real quick, Sentient
man.
12 says the Fantastic Four sucks. Doctor Doom and Galactus are what they're going to want to use right away. Stop right there. The Fantastic Four don't suck. They're fucking awesome. No one's just done a good job of adapting it. You know that. Y'all know better.
Well,
Y'all
he
know
doesn't
better.
know that.
But y'all know because remember 1997? You ask a regular adult human that didn't read comic books, and they'd be like, "Oh, Batman sucks."
Yep.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Batman and Robin just came out. You
And then
needed it.
Batman Begins came out, and everybody was like,
Exactly. You need it. Come on.
dope.
Don't talk shit about Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Just don't do it around me, okay? Just don't do it around me.
Don't do it,
Marvel's
don't do it.
first family.
I just can't wait
I
to
wish we
see-
could throw comics at people.
I know,
Like,
right?
have them hit
Hey,
them in the face.
that's what the internet
Read
tries. And if people don't want to read comic books, they're not going to read comic
Right.
books.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned is like,
Oh yeah,
no.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You can
I'm-
talk about how much you love comics, and people will still be like, nah.
I'm just
Yeah.
super excited to see the Captain America Human Torch crossover with Chris Evans playing both characters. So
That would
can't
be
wait for
great.
that.
That would
Fantastic
go good
Four-
in a Daredevil. I'm sorry, in a Deadpool movie.
That would
Yeah.
be amazing.
Sentient 12 says Fantastic Four are toilet emoji. Now I'm going to tell you this.
Wow.
We're going to stop picking on you, Sentient 12, but if the rest of the chat for real wants to link some like real good Fantastic Four comics
Oh yeah.
to shut him up, that'd be great.
Hit them with them links.
That'd be great. Hit him with them links. I
The
don't
last
have
thing,
time.
last thing I'll say about this topic is stay informed. Don't just read the headlines. If you
Yes.
actually want to know what's
Yeah.
happening, I'll put a bunch of links in the description of this
Thank
video,
Yeah.
just so you guys can kind of stay informed and kind of
Read
get
articles.
a full sort of spectrum as to like what exactly is going on, because it is very involved and a lot of it is a bunch of business jargon that some of
Yeah.
you may not care about. But at least as this process is sort of unfolding, we'll get more information as to how this whole thing is going to sort of work, whether or not 20th Century Fox will get dissolved, what's going to happen to all those people. But yeah, I think this is a perfect time if you really care about the industry and you care about movies to kind of stay informed and to understand exactly how this works, because
Absolutely.
these sort of things are not going to happen that often, but when they do, they're obviously huge then.
It sounds stupid, but you can make a difference by talking about what you like and dislike about stuff like this on social media and on the internet. You can make a difference by voting with your dollars. If you know that a ton of jobs are lost,
Right.
don't support the company that does that.
Yeah.
Don't support. I don't know. It's you can vote by your dollars, and I feel like at the end of the day, this is all a money game.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
we
all it
all
is.
we were
That's
all
all it is.
crying at Coco this year, which was made by Pixar, which is owned by Disney, and there was such beautiful creativity on display in that film and
Yeah.
such beautiful authenticity. But
Yeah.
I 100% believe that the reason that movie was ever even made is because they're like, we can get Latino, audiences in Latin America.
That's
You know what I
part
mean?
of
And
it
it made a
too.
ton of money.
That's part of it.
It's a big
but
part of
another
it.
part of it is that Disney tried to patent Day of the Dead and
Yes.
own the holiday.
And
Own
and
a
people got
Mexican
mad.
holiday, like
People got
trying to
mad.
own Christmas.
Well, just the
trying
name,
to
just
own-
the name, Augustine, because the movie was going to be called Dia de los Muertos
Yeah.
or Day of the Dead,
Yeah.
and so they tried to copyright that, and
Yeah.
all the Mexicans came out like, "Are you serious?
It's like, what?
Are you kidding me?"
Son?
But yeah, and because people complain about, and especially like vocal critics complain about how Disney treated like Latino characters in that imagery. You know what Pixar did is they went and hired consultants that were like some of their biggest
Cultural
critics.
consultants.
Their biggest critics, the cartoonists that would turn Mickey Mouse this horrible caricature that was this horrific,
Lalo
they,
Alcaraz, yeah.
they got him, and they're like, help us with Coco.
Mhm.
So that shit makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
it
so
does. It
be
does.
informed, like Adam said. Thank you,
Yes.
Adam.
Now we're gonna watch some trailers.
Let's lighten this bitch up. I
And
still
the-
haven't seen these
I
trailers.
haven't seen this either. The first trailer
Okay.
we're gonna watch is Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse.
Mhm.
Apparently, this trailer is awesome, so I'm really looking forward to seeing this.
Do we have good volume? Did we check the volume yet?
I did.
Okay.
Lucas, we good to go? You're the
Tight.
best. You're the
Here we
best.
go.
Here we
See
go.
Oh, I already love it.
Interesting.
I already love it.
This morning I woke up in a fortress of distortion. I'm at war with my emotions.
Way cool.
Right. It's Miles Morales.
Yes, it's fresh. Dude. It is very fresh.
Oh, that's so dope.
Oh no way.
Because again, people don't know
Yeah.
that's a black Latino kid.
It's your
Right.
boy.
You're like, what? Spider-Man's a black kid? Yes.
Oh yeah,
In
he
case you're
is.
confused.
Check it out.
Wait, so how many of us are there?
It's Peter Parker.
Oh, there's the spider.
Wait, is that
oh!
Peter Parker?
Oh.
He just said, well, wait, how many of
How
the
many
of
of us
us
are
are there?
Well, then whose grave was he looking at?
Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So this is a Spiderverse exploration.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
There's multiple
Ooh.
universes.
So there's gonna be
Ooh.
like a billion different spider
So
people.
we're crossing
in this.
universes in this
Yes.
movie.
In this universe, Miles Morales is alive and Peter Parker's dead. And they're around the same age. There's
Ooh.
another universe where
Right.
Peter Parker is a 28-year-old guy.
Mhm,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mhm, mhm.
That's the one who I think was talking to him at the end.
Yeah.
because Miles is like, wait, how many of us are there?
Yeah.
You know you're going to see Spider-Gwen,
Yeah.
Spider-Woman, Man-Spider, Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Man 2099.
2099.
Like every iteration of Spider-Man is going to be in this.
Yeah.
I'm predicting.
I love that animation.
It looks
The
slick,
that was
dude.
animation
so
is
It looks
sick
slick.
looking.
So they made
Yeah.
it look like a stop motion movie, and it
A little bit.
fucking works.
But I love the like when he jumps over the cab
Yes.
and it goes into like a
2D.
like a
It goes into
2D.
2D view.
comic
Yeah.
booky,
comic
yes.
booky.
Yeah.
The dots and everything. The
fuck, that
lighting
looks
look
good.
gorgeous.
That
yes.
looks so good.
Spider Pig,
Fresh as fuck. is
Silk.
all I
We're
gotta
probably
say.
going to see so many
Fresh
different.
as fuck. That
Yeah.
looks so good.
I like the thing that I think excites me the most about it is I think it's a very intriguing take
Yes.
to bring in all these different Spider-Man characters because you're essentially introducing the general movie-going audience to all these characters. Some of them they may stick with it and they may go where they're in the comics.
Mhm.
I didn't even know. I thought it was
It's
only
brilliant.
Peter Parker. And then you get these people who are doing some research and they find out there's like all these different iterations of Spider-Man, and then they get intrigued and they find a Spider-Man that really is kind of tailored for them.
That's another thing too. I feel like people, big top movie execs, don't care about what they actually show in animated movies.
Yeah.
Besides like Pixar and Disney and all whatever.
Yeah.
Like a bigger studio that doesn't really focus on animation but has an animation department will let animators
Yes.
and animation directors be super creative.
This would
That's
never
why we get
fly
stuff like this.
at a Marvel Studios at
Right.
this point or at Sony live
Right,
action.
Exactly.
But the fact that this is animated, it's like Lego Batman.
yeah,
exactly.
Where
the
Lego
freedom to do
Batman-
what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Lego Batman was a love letter to all things Batman.
Absolutely.
Lego Batman had references to Adam West, Michael
Right,
Keaton,
right,
Val
right.
Kilmer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And comic book references. And it was a love letter to everything that makes Batman great. That's what Spider-Verse could be. If you haven't
Yeah.
read the comic book, I actually really liked it. And
Yeah.
it's not my favorite writer. It's a guy named Dan Slott.
Right.
He's been writing Spider-Man for years now, and I haven't loved everything that he's done. But when he did this crossover event where it was Peter Parker realizing there's other Spider-Mans in other universes, it was fucking great because it was just, hey, do you love Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Anything about Spider-Man? Here it is.
Yeah.
And it's a love letter. They had references to the Spider-Man Japanese live action
Oh
show
yeah.
where he had
they
a
did the
giant
anime.
mech.
They did the
Like,
anime thing.
it was like everything.
It was great. Yeah.
The Spider-Man
Spider Ham.
they made it so that the Spider-Man like 90s animated show was one of the universes.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
new Spider-Man animated show
Yeah.
was one of the universes. The comic strip,
Yeah.
just like the 60s
Just
show.
every different version of Spider-Man that has ever been drawn was basically in there. It
I
was
wouldn't be
great.
surprised if they went back and got Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and even Tom Holland to do little
Yeah,
cameos as
to do
like their
cameos.
version of Spider. Like
We
I would
might
not be
even
surprised.
see. We might even see the old school Super Friend. No, it's not Super Friends. What do they do? The old school '60s Spider-Man.
Yeah, I agree.
Like Spider-Man TV
Yeah.
show.
Yeah,
We might
and
even
I bet
see
you
that.
like I bet you. I mean, I think this is going to happen. Miles Morales or whoever is going to hop into that world,
Yeah.
and they're going to animate it 60 style.
Yeah,
It's gonna
exactly.
be all
That'd
shitty.
be so
Exactly.
cool.
Like,
Uh-huh.
and it's that kind of shit's so cool.
It's
like,
so
That'd be
dude.
cool if it changes styles every time he
Yes.
goes
Yeah.
into a different universe.
I think
Yeah.
that's what's going
that
to.
would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks super cool. Well,
Okay.
let's see how Ready Player One
Oh,
Do it.
that's
Works
so
out.
controversial. There's
so
such
controversial.
bitter ends on both
There you
sides
go.
on this.
My name's Wade Watts. My dad picked that name because it sounded like a superhero's alter ego, like
Yeah.
Peter Parker or Bruce Banner. But he
Wade
died
Watts.
when I was a kid. My mom too. And I ended up here. So I'm sitting here in my tiny corner of nowhere. There's nowhere left to go. Nowhere. Except the Oasis. A whole virtual universe.
Great music choice.
People come to the Oasis for all the things they can do. But they stay because of all the things they can be.
Can you feel this?
Yeah. It's the only place that feels like I mean anything. The Oasis was the brainchild of James Halliday.
Hello. If you're watching this, I'm
What?
dead. I created a hidden object, an Easter egg. The first person to find the egg
actually
will
really
inherit $500 billion and total control of the Oasis itself.
Who is this Parzival, and how the hell is he winning?
Find him.
This isn't just a game. I'm talking about actual life and death stuff.
The Oasis, the world's most important economic resource. It's nothing less than a war for control of the future.
Welcome to the rebellion, Wade.
Jimmy.
That's Kira's bike, right?
Yeah. No, yeah, that was a Kira's bike.
Like many of you, I only came here to escape.
Harley.
Oh, that was.
But I found something much bigger than just myself. Are you willing to fight?
Gundam.
Oh, Gundam.
Yeah.
Let's save the Oasis.
Why do they
The
gotta
Iron
hit me
Giant.
with that Iron Giant,
That's my
y'all?
boy.
Fuck! Oh, I wasn't really into it, and then the Iron Giant comes in. They
It's
know how to
easy.
pull me in.
This movie, just like the book, it's all emotional manipulation, nostalgia, you know, and some of it works.
They
And
got me.
I read the book. I didn't like the book, but while reading it, like I could see that it had potential for a really fun and a really great movie. The movie looks visually stunning.
Absolutely.
I think all the effects are like on point. I'm still hesitant about some of the maybe some of the messages and stuff, but at the end of the day, it looks. I still trust Steven Spielberg, man. I think he knows how to make a movie and make it not creepy.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
not have boy characters be
Absolutely.
creepy, but
Yeah,
still be
yeah.
like romantic and
Right.
shit.
I
So
agree.
like, I'm excited about it. I really, really hope it's good. Perfect music
I think
choice.
I think that's really the thing that's selling me on this movie is Spielberg. I feel like Spielberg still has a good eye for a sense of adventure and fun and sort of, you know, transporting you into a world and making you feel like you're having, making you feel like you're a part of it.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the book. I have a copy of it. I still haven't read it though. I may try to read it before this movie comes out, but I
Either
may
way,
just
if
hold
you
off.
read it before, I would love to get your take on it and your
Yeah.
thoughts. And I think it's cool to go see the movie having read the book and kind of knowing what you're expecting. But I'd also love to get your guys' thoughts if you haven't read the book. Like if we go see the fucking movie,
Yeah.
How
to
about
have
you
that
read it?
take on it.
I won't read it because
There
I
you
can't.
go.
I can't read. First of all, like I'm
Don't even do
illiterate.
audiobook.
Don't even
do that.
audiobook it. So it'll be easy for me not to do that part.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
It's great.
Okay.
What do you think about it?
I'm surprised at how fast the sort of nostalgia wore off from this trailer to the other one.
I know.
100%.
Because
I know.
when we saw the first one in Comic-Con,
Comic-Con.
Yeah.
it was like we were not ready.
Deadshot and
we were,
Harley, and we're like, oh my
we
God,
were not
Freddy
ready,
Krueger.
and we were just
Yeah.
assaulted by all
Come
these
with
things that we've
me,
never seen before.
and you'll see.
And that music, it like tied it all together perfectly. And now I know what to expect. And basically, all the nostalgia kind of wore off.
Sure.
Because it feels like it's maybe just a little too much. You
Yeah.
know, like
Mm-hmm.
you're hitting me with everything all at once, and it's just like, what am I supposed to focus on? I feel like I can't
Right.
focus on any one thing on this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Visually, it looks fucking incredible.
Yeah.
But I don't know where this thing's gonna go. What do you have to say with all these member berries as people are?
Yeah.
I hope the movie has something to say about member berries.
Yeah,
I hope
exactly.
the movie has something to say about nostalgia because there's like people are kind of talking in the chat. The book kind of has a message of like it's bad to just want to live in the escapist world.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah,
you need to
exactly.
you can't just retreat there. You need to fix your own shit.
Right.
Yeah.
But the book is also kind of like we're just gonna be in the fantasy world.
Yeah.
And that is the solution to all the
Cameron
problems.
described it as Mad Libs.
A little
Just like
bit. There's
kind of just
definitely
Mad Libs
it
put
definitely
together.
hits you over the head with
Yeah.
references, which is something that like in a book it's different because you have to read every word. In a movie, you don't have to look at every detail. There
Yeah.
could be background shit as
Right.
you're following along with the story.
Right.
And on repeats, on reviewings, you go,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's Freddy Krueger in the
Right,
back.
right,
Oh,
right.
that's Tracer in
Right,
the back."
right,
Like
right.
it shouldn't be something that is, not every character needs to walk up to the screen and talk.
Right.
So like that's why I was kind of hoping the movie. I'm like the movie might address some of that, fix
Yeah.
some of that. I don't know. I'm hoping.
I hope so. I mean, like you guys said, I trust Steven Spielberg.
find out.
At the end of the day, I
There you
trust
go.
Steven Spielberg.
find
So
out.
there you go. There you go.
Last trailer of the night.
Oh,
A show I think that we're all excited about.
excited. So
Jessica
excited.
Jones. Minute long. Let's see what it's all about.
It's good still.
Everyone has secrets. If not their own,
Oh, I like the spine or the cop
then
music.
someone else's.
Oh, it's Barracuda.
What are you? How did you end up like this? Are you gonna kill me?
People actually ask you that.
It comes up.
Oh, March 8th.
Done to you
Now we know.
might help you.
What if facing it makes me worse? I've already killed someone.
Same with the fact she killed Purple Man.
Oh.
There's still a lot of purple stuff going on here, y'all.
Dude. still dealing with
If you
it.
say with great power comes great responsibility, I swear I'll throw up on you.
There's a lot of yellow
That's
and
cool. That's
green
cool.
and
Yeah.
red in that
Yeah.
bar scene.
You thinking we're gonna get some Daredevil, some Iron Fist, some Luke Cage
I think we're gonna
cameos?
get a little
Some
bit of
Uncle
that.
Ben?
A little bit of that, a little bit of this, some
That'd be
Uncle Ben.
amazing.
Yeah, I know, right?
That'd be so cool.
Was that Uncle Ben driving her?
Right?
Is this Ready Player One? Really?
Oh God. No, I'm super excited.
Yeah.
I liked so much of season 1. And I
Yeah.
think like most 13-episode Netflix shows,
It dragged
hits
in
a
the
point
middle.
where it kind of
Yep.
drags them a
Yep.
little, but
Yep.
everything else surrounding that was so solid. She was amazing as Jessica Jones,
Yes.
both in this and in The Defenders. So I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm really excited about this. Jessica Jones, I think, is my favorite Marvel Netflix series.
Yeah.
I can't think of enough good things to say. I'm just really curious as to what they're doing with the villain at this point.
Yeah. Who's the villain? What's the
there's
story?
Nothing. What do you
yeah.
do after Kilgrave? That guy was so terrifying.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is going to be her dealing sort of with whatever's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that's something she's ever going to get over.
Yeah.
But who else is going to come fuck up her day? You know?
Yeah. Agreed.
I don't know.
Agreed.
I don't know.
Love it. I can't wait.
Guys, let us know in the comments below what was your favorite trailer that we watched today, and of course, let us know what you think about this Fox
Maybe
Disney
Spider-Man?
merger.
That might be my favorite. What's your guys' favorite
What
trailer we saw tonight?
Oh, Spider-Man.
I think Spider-Man. The style of that trailer was
Goosebumps.
incredible.
Goosebumps.
Incredible.
Muy bueno.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments below what we thought about all that, and of course, Star Wars: The Last Jedi spoiler review coming. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about that. Thank you guys so much for all the comments you've been leaving on our non-spoiler review.
They're beautiful.
And we'll catch you next episode.
Yeah.
Good night.
Bye.